we are very positive in Bitcoin. We have in our Big Ideas 2022, which you can find on our website, we have a price target in 2030 of $1.3 million. It's only 21,000 now. And we can show you the building blocks, how we get there.
Cathie Wood, the CEO and CIO of ARK Invest, is known for her bold predictions and moves, as well as for being a huge supporter of Bitcoin and for being a visionary. We believe Bitcoin is the most profound application of public blockchains, the foundation of self-sovereign digital money, ARK wrote in January report. The Bitcoin protocol has enabled two other revolutions, the financial, DeFi, and Internet, Web3 revolutions. According to ARK's estimates at the time, the price of one Bitcoin could exceed $1 million by 2030. While the crypto world has taken a downturn in recent months, Wood reiterated her prediction in April, telling Yahoo Finance, "I don't think people believed me when I said it on stage last week at Bitcoin 2022, but I meant it. And many people think, okay, so you're assuming that institutional investors become huge holders of Bitcoin. No, we're not. We're assuming, though, that they will move in gradually." In 2018, a fund manager made a bullish call on Tesla Incorporated that placed a price target far ahead of analysts and at the time seemed pretty out there. Less than 3 years later, that bullish price target came true and helped cement Cathie Wood's place in investing history. "If we're right, this stock in our models is going to $4,000, Wood said on CNBC. "If we're wrong, and all they do is electric, our bear case is $600. The call from Wood seemed out there at the time with the highest price target from analysts, sitting at $500 in shares of the electric vehicle company trading at $346. The future is electric. The future is transportation as a service, software as a service. This is where Tesla is going. Tesla shares underwent a 5-for-1 share split in August 2020, making the price target from Wood a split-adjusted $800 per share for Tesla. In January 2021, Wood's prediction came true, with Tesla passing the $800 level. Wood has doubled down since then, laying out a call for shares of Tesla to hit a split-adjusted price of $1,400 in 2024 and another call for Tesla shares to hit $3,000 by 2025. Tesla shares hit an all-time high of $1,243.39 in November 2021. Welcome to Savvy Finance. Before we listen to the remaining part of Cathie Wood interview, please take a moment to smash the like button and consider subscribing if you are yet to do so.
Tell me what you see coming in the coming 6 to 12 months and how you want to be allocating capital today.
Well, I think our strategy has been hurt very, very much, as have most growth strategies, by the fears associated with inflation and higher interest rates. And as I mentioned, we think that's going to turn around. We see the growth coming out of these 5 platforms. These are 5 innovation platforms. These are exponential growth trajectories. And we faced a lot of COVID-related comparison issues in stocks like Roku, Teladoc, Zoom, and so forth. So there's been a lot of confusion on very short-term indicators in the market. But the explosive growth is there. It has happened, and we think it's going to continue. We see that in the global public equity markets, truly disruptive innovation, which is all we focus on, is priced at roughly $8 trillion in value in the markets today. That number, we believe, is going to more than 200 trillion during the next 8 to 10 years. So it's going from less than 10% of the global public equity market to what we believe will be 60%. And the reason we believe that it will move to that level is because these platforms are going to disrupt the traditional world order in a way like we have never seen before. We were not around in the early 1900s when telephone, electricity, and the automobile disrupted the existing world order. These are 5 platforms, not 3, and they involve 14 different technologies. So we do extensive research. I think we do the best research, if I might say, because of our sole focus on it. And we give that research away because we want people to understand how their lives are going to change and how their children's, grandchildren's lives are going to change and how important it is for all of us to get on the right side of change.
Yeah. And I understand that long-term look about how revolutionary all of this is. But Cathie, how long can you stay on this theme when markets go against you? You had an incredible run for so long up until this most recent upset in the market. Now your ARK Innovation ETF in a bit of a slump, down nearly 60% this year. Tell me what you do in terms of hedging, if you can. For example, you know, you've got a market that is very nervous about how slow things get, and that's why for the first time in 15 years, we're seeing value outpace growth.
Yes, well, we think if we're right about what's going on in the economy right now, and inflation is going to come down fairly dramatically, that will be a big positive for growth stocks. The compression in our performance, what we do during periods like this is we concentrate our holdings towards our highest conviction names. So we have taken our flagship strategy from 55 names down to 33 names. We did the same thing during COVID, but that was just a 1 month worth of pain, and it was awfully painful over a month. And from the lows in COVID, we moved up in the span of less than a year by 360%. So that was probably ahead of its time. We've corrected tremendously. And now we have many what I would consider deep value stocks if you give us a 5-year investment time horizon. In terms of hedging, what I just described, that concentration strategy, people would say, oh, well, my goodness, you're taking more risk. No, we're not. We have a scoring system, and which naturally takes us towards higher scoring names during corrections. So it's kind of a pruning of the portfolio. And in terms of hedging, that's not what we do. That's what asset allocators do. That's what advisors do. We are a slice of their portfolios, and they will position, depending on clients' risk tolerance, they will position us anywhere from 2% of their portfolios towards 10%. And as I said, I think in the broad-based benchmarks, our strategies, our stocks, will end up at more than 60%. So we are in very early days. And that's why we encourage our investors as well to get on the right side of change. It's been awfully painful. And believe me, I do feel it. And we're completely committed. We actually increased our own ownership of our firm in the middle of all of this. That's how high our conviction is. And almost every employee participated in that.
Let's talk Tesla, Zoom, and some of your other top holdings, Cathie.
Sure. Well, I'll start with Zoom. It's a fascinating stock. Many people call it a stay-at-home stock because, of course, it did so much to help us transition through COVID. So to give you a sense of the drama here, Zoom's revenues are up 7-fold since 2019, before the COVID. So there was roughly $600 million in revenue, and now we're up to 4.4 billion, we think, for this fiscal year. Its cash flow has gone from roughly $40 million. So even back then it had cash flow to $1.6 billion. And yet the stock and its earnings per share have gone from 9 cents to $3 and roughly 70 cents, we think, for this year. And yet the stock is below where it was before COVID. It's astonishing to us. This is what I mean by a deep value stock in our portfolios. Its enterprise value to EBITDA is roughly 11 times, which is lower than the broad-based markets. Now, this is not just a consumer stock. In fact, more than half of its revenues is enterprise, and that number is increasing dramatically. Why? This is the first rip and replace cycle in the enterprise communication space since Cisco built out the backbone of the internet in the early 90s, right? First rip and replace cycle. This cycle is going into the cloud. We're not going to be as hardware centric or on-prem. It's going into the cloud. And this market is Zoom's and Microsoft's to win.
Wow. Cathie, real quick before you go on Bitcoin, it's had a pretty good spate here, even though we're still way down from the highs. Would you put new money to work on Bitcoin today?
What do you make of Cathie Wood Bitcoin prediction? Do you believe that Bitcoin will exceed $1 million by 2030? Also, let us know what you think of her other predictions in the interview. Here at Savvy Finance, we believe so much in Bitcoin and expect that it will get to $1 million per coin in the near future. Thanks for watching and keep hodling.